Hey gang, so by now I've got quite a number of tutorials out there, and a lot of you guys that are watching them out there probably have gotten a number of new moves under your belt. So I've already done one video on the concept of transitions between double staff moves, but I wanted to do another one because there's a really specific idea that's been popping out a lot in the stuff that I've been writing in terms of choreography. Now, clearly when we talk about transitions, we're also talking about positions in which the staves kind of match up their orientation so that you can move back and forth between a whole variety of tricks, right? Now, one thing that I'm noticing in a lot of people whose styles I really dig is also that they have this kind of continuation of rotation to them. Let me show you what I mean. Now, when I am doing one of my favorite moves here, which is this kind of snake that becomes integrated into a 6-pedal anti-spin, like so, you'll note that as I'm doing so, one of the things that comes out of this is that each of my staves continues rotating in the same direction throughout the pattern, right? So as I'm using my right-hand staff here, it's always turning in a clockwise kind of fashion, right? Even when it's moving in an R-type, the hand is still continuing to move around in a clockwise direction, yeah? Now, what's cool about this is it creates this sense of continuity between the two moves, right? For example, for the longest time, I was doing snakes in such a way that I would kind of break their movement like this, rather than kind of continuing it like this. And part of what makes the snakes look cool is that you're kind of going with the direction of movement rather than against it, yeah? So for example, if I were to incorporate part of one of those snakes into, say, like an 8-pedal anti-spin, like so, I could have the option of going around like that, in which case I've kind of broken the momentum of both of these staves, as opposed to if I go around the other way, in which case I've continued the movement of the staves. That is, that left-hand staff continues turning around counterclockwise either way. And so the movement kind of feels as though it's continuous, like there's a bit of momentum that's continued through to the end of the pattern, right? So as you're thinking about patterns that go together, try and think about the direction of rotation, and specifically try and think about it in terms of how do I continue that direction of rotation so that it seems as though I have created a move that is flowing really nicely with the move after it. It's also, of course, really important to think about when those points of movement and direction change. Like, for example, in this pattern right here, very clearly, we're deliberately going in such an arrangement that the staves are stopping and switching which direction they're turning at a certain point, which can be just as interesting. So in terms of like kind of, I guess, composing your movement, as it were, think as much about the direction that the staves are turning in as you are about the tricks that you're combining together with them. And you just might find that there's a type of continuity that you can discover that'll do really interesting things for your audience, yeah? And even more so when you break out of that direction of movement, whether it creates a new and interesting experience for the audience or cues them that you're about to do something different. Yeah. So anyways, thank you guys for watching, and have a great week, and I will be back with another tutorial for you in 2 weeks. Peace. A huge thank you to Third Earth Fireproof for sponsoring this month's videos. Based in the heart of Brooklyn and made in America, Third Earth is an innovative clothing line that features fire retardant, all-natural fabrics, and high-quality craftsmanship, all with the fire performer in mind. Whether it be festival wear, costumes, or even everyday wear, Third Earth has an option that's right for you. Find them on Etsy and use the promo code DrexFactor to get 10% off your order. Also, a huge debt of thanks is owed to my Patreon supporters. If you or anybody that you know has learned something from one of the videos that I've put out, please consider signing up to make a monthly contribution. You'll get access to some great behind-the-scenes footage as well as great rewards. You can find me over at patreon.com/DrexFactorPoi. Thank you in advance.